Radha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7. Does anyone remember what was the main point from the last time?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We heard that the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his super soul feature is always existing within the cores of the hearts of all living entities. And so there is no endeavor to get closer to Krishna. It's just through Shravanam Kirtanam, by hearing and chanting his name, we can get close to him. So he's so merciful, compassionate.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So then we go on to text 41. Yad artha iha karmani
यद् अर्थे इह कर्माणि
vidvan mani askran naraha
विद्वान् मानी असत्कृत
karoti ato viparyasam
करोति अतः विपर्यासम्
amogam vindate phalam.
अमोघं विन्दते फलम्.
Phalam.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A materialistic person thinking himself very advanced in intelligence continually acts for economic development. But again and again, as enunciated in the Vedas, he is frustrated by material activities, either in this life or in the next. Indeed, the results one obtains are inevitably the opposite of those one desires. No one has ever achieved the results he desired from material activities. On the contrary, everyone has been frustrated again and again. I don't know if you all have had the experience. You know, we want something, we are doing certain activity with the desire that I should get this result, but that result sometimes comes totally opposite. Sometimes it may not happen. So therefore one must not waste his time in such material activities for sensual pleasure, either in this life or in the next. So many nationalists, economists, and other ambitious persons have tried for happiness individually or collectively, but history proves that they have all been frustrated. In recent history, we have seen many political leaders work hard for individual and collective economic development, but they have all failed. This is the law of nature, as clearly explained in the next verse. So, and there are so many different departments, and humanity is working very hard for advancement, but we can see the results we are getting. No one feels happy with the results. Still, the anxiety is more, stress is more. Yeah. Sukhaya dukkha mokshaya
Sukhaya Dukkha Mokshaya
sankalpa iha karmina
Sankalpa Iha Kalpina
sadapnoti haya dukkham
सदा
Sadapnoti Haya Dukkham
anihaya sukhavritaha.
Anihaya Sukhavrita.
In this material world, every materialist desires to achieve happiness and diminish his distress, and therefore he acts accordingly. Actually, however, one is happy as long as one does not endeavor for happiness. As soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his conditions of distress begin. Every conditioned soul is bound by the law of material nature, as described in Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gune Karmani sarvashaha. So we are all bound. The soul, that's why it's called conditioned soul. We are called conditioned souls. We are conditioned by these modes of nature. Everyone has achieved a certain type of body given by material nature according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshwarchana tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjun, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 1861. So Krishna is the Paramatma. Krishna is fulfilling our desires. This body is compared to a machine given to us by material energy. It's a machine, like how we sit in the car to drive. Like that, the soul is sitting in the body. Okay. And everything is happening by the arrangement of Supreme Lord. Paramatma is there in the heart. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, is present in everyone's heart. And as the living entity desires, the Lord gives him facilities with which to work according to his ambitions in different grades of bodies. So we have uh, different desires. Based on that, we are working differently. Based on that, we get different types of bodies then. Okay. The body is just like an instrument by which the living entity moves according to false desires for happiness, and thus suffers the pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease in different standards of life. Everyone begins his activities with some plan and ambition, but actually, from the beginning of one's plan to the end, one does not derive any happiness. So Prahlāda Maharaj is saying that we conditioned souls, we are trying so hard to find happiness. The more we try to endeavor for happiness, the more distress we get. That's the mode of passion. Mode of passion is where characterized by a lot of desires. So, and then when we want to fulfill all these desires, mode of passion brings us distress. So, therefore, one should not be ambitious to dissipate the unhappy conditions of life, for one cannot do anything about them. So, as Krishna says, tolerate. Krishna says that seasons come and go, winter comes, goes, summer comes, goes. Happiness will come, it will go. Distress will come, it will go. Don't unnecessarily get over consumed by it. Ahankara vimudatma karta hameti manyate. Although one is acting according to false ambitions, he thinks he can improve his material conditions by his activities. That's what we are thinking, right? That's what the whole modern civilization is all about. We are thinking that we are moving towards a better civilization, but we need to really think back, look over at what we are doing. Is it that we are really getting better? And if we are getting better, in what areas are we getting better? And in what areas are we actually degrading? The Vedas enjoin that one should not try to increase happiness or decrease distress, for this is futile. Tasyeva heto priyateta govida. One should work for self-realization, not for economic development, which is impossible to improve. So one should work for self-realization, not for economic development, which is impossible to improve. So, the happiness and the distress which is written in one's life according to past karma, that's what we are going to, that much happiness or that much distress we will experience in this life. So the recommendation is that instead of over endeavoring for happiness and distress, use that endeavor, the time, the energy to for self-realization, to cultivate spiritual knowledge, engage in devotional service. without endeavor, one can get the amount, endeavor, one can get the amount of happiness and distress for which he is destined. And one cannot change this. So we are destined for a certain amount of happiness and distress based on our past karma. We may do nothing about it, yet that much happiness or that much distress we will experience. So then the proposal that Prahlāda Maharaj is saying, better use one's time for advancement in spiritual life of Krishna consciousness. One should not waste his valuable life as a human being. It is better to utilize this life for developing Krishna consciousness without ambitions for so-called happiness. What happens is we are trying to be happy here in the material world, but we are forgetting, and we are trying to make ourselves as comfortable as possible, but we forget that our time here is very temporary. For us, our 100 years seem very long, but we don't even know if we live 100 years in this life. Average person does not. There is uh, past time. There was one rishi, Loma Rishi, and he didn't have a particular address. He didn't stay in one particular place. So his disciples were saying, let us make you an ashram. Narad Muni also told him, hey, I don't know where to find you. Why don't you have one particular place? So this Loma Rishi, what was his benediction? That from his, we have many hairs on the body, right? So he had the benediction that he's going to live for as many kalpas as the hairs on his body. At the end of every kalpa, one hair would fall off. Now, one kalpa is Lord Brahma's one day, you know, and 30 such kalpas is Lord Brahma's 1 month. So, one kalpa is our 1,000 yugas in the daytime and 1,000 yugas at night time. So, such an amazingly long time. And Rishi is saying, I'm just here for a short time. Why should I make a house for myself? Something to learn from him actually. He's going to live here for how many kalpas? And yet he's saying, oh, it's such a short time. Why should I bother building a house? And what we are doing, we are all our time and energy, we are engaging how I can be comfortable in this body. We feel we're never gonna leave this body. So here Prahlāda Maharaj is saying happiness will come, distress will come. You're already destined for it. Rather, use that time, use that energy for devotional service. Serve the Lord.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, there's
Hare
another
Krishna.
example. No? Famous Michael Jackson.
What
So
was?
much he tried. Yeah, he had all the best doctors, and he thought that he's going to live, as
Mm,
long as possible, 100 years. But where his life, he he couldn't, and he lived
uh,
only till 50 years old. Died.
oh, wow. So yeah, so that's an example also. Yeah, we can make a lot of plans.
Yeah, that was his plan. That, I'm going to live forever.
Ah,
He had the
okay.
money, he had everything, but he couldn't.
Yeah, so we need to learn then. Yeah, we need to learn that no matter we have everything, still we'll have to leave everything here, go to another place. So we need to learn from Lomas Rishi.
Yeah.
We need to learn from him that he's gonna live for such an amazingly long time. Yet he's like, oh, I'm here such a short time, I'm gonna go anyways. Amazing, right? Mm.
And in the Devotional, like trying to build the best, right? Best place for himself.
Um, he was trying to build.
Build, yeah, the best, right? The best for himself. And yeah, that's why I think he offered, he told, no, no, I can build for you, right? I can make a place for you to live. But he said, no, I don't want to waste my time.
Uh,
Right? So much time goes, right? When in
yeah,
building.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So true. Time goes. So Kalpa, actually, Kalpa, I'm sorry, I said day and night. It's actually just the 12 hours. One Kalpa is 12 hours, not 24. Anyway, at the end of one Kalpa, which is still very long time, 1000 yugas,
Mm.
1000, one hair is falling off, still very long time. Okay, let's try to read one more. Kaman kamyate kamyer.
कामान् कामयते काम्ये
Yad artham iha purusha.
यत् अर्थम् इह
Yartham iha
पुरुषः
purusha
Savai dehastu parakya.
सवे
sarve
देहस्य
dehastu
पारस्य
parakyo
Bhanguro yati upayati cha.
भङ्गुरो याति उपैति च
A living entity desires comfort for his body and makes many plans for this purpose. But actually, the body is the property of others. Indeed, the perishable body embraces the living entity and then leaves him aside. Everyone desires comfort for his body and tries to make a suitable situation for this purpose, forgetting that the body is meant to be eaten by dogs, jackals, or moths, and thus turned into useless stool, ashes, or earth. The living entity wastes his time in a futile attempt to gain material possessions for the comfort of one body after another. Prahlad Maharaj is saying this body does not actually belong to us. We are trying to make the body so comfortable. All our time, energy goes in making body comfortable. But the body is either going to be burned or given to animals to be eaten or buried. Anyway, it's going to be destroyed. And yet, our full endeavor is how can I be more and more comfortable in this body? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, wake up, don't do this. Kim u vyavahitapatya
किं नो व्यहित अपत्य
karagara dhanadaya
दारगारघनदैः
Nadaya
rajya kosha gajamatya
Rajyakosha
राज्यकोशगजमस्य
Gajamatya
vrityapta mamataspadaha.
भृत्य आपता ममतास्ततः
Mamatas
Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stula earth, what is the meaning of the paraphernalia related to the body, such as wives, residences, wealth, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministers? They are also temporary. What more can be said about this? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying when our body itself does not belong to us, our body itself is temporary, gonna become either a stool or ashes or mixed with the earth, then what to speak about that is in what is in relation to the body? That's also temporary. That also after we die, we forget everything. We can't remember in our past life who was our family, what nationality, what planet, what species, what was our house. We can't remember anything. So similarly, when we give up this body, we're going to forget everything related to the body, our family, our country, our community, society, everything that right now we are thinking is so important. We're going to forget it. And we have a tiny experience of this actually. Every day we have this tiny experience. Does anyone know how, when? Hmm? When we sleep at night. We go to sleep at night and we forget everything. Whatever was so dear to us during the day, whatever we were putting so much of our time, energy for in the day, everything is forgotten at night. We forget even our body, we forget, we forget our family, our house, everything, everything. We just fall asleep. Can't remember anything. Yeah,
Yeah, true.
right. Then in the
Context,
morning. Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Shilpaji, there was just this incident that when Alfred Fraud went to Prabhupada and
Hmm.
his father was very famous, and then the first thing, because he mentions it, that the first thing Prabhupada asked me was that, where is your father now?
Grandfather. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Grandfather. Yeah.
he was in shock. He said that whenever I go to somebody, people always ask me, they just want to be on my side so that I'll give them some money. And he was so blunt. Prabhupada was so, like, he was just truthfully hitting me that, no, where is your father now? Grandfather, sorry. Where is he? So,
Yeah.
yeah, he got stuck. And that was the moment for him to surrender. That moment stuck him. And
Yeah,
so,
it's true, right? We don't know
so
where we
when
are
the
going after death.
and when the guru, when we get the mercy, like he got the mercy, guru came and yes,
Yeah.
Krishna prasade pai bhakta lata beej, right? So when he got the mercy,
Yeah.
right thing happens. And I think no other day is better than today,
Yeah.
that
It's true.
mercy,
Yeah.
right?
You should
We
pray
should
to Prabhupada today. Yeah. Today is his appearance day, his Vyasa Puja. Pray to Srila Prabhupada for his mercy. Try to please him in some way. Prabhupada is very, very merciful. You know? So it's
yeah,
a day for us to deepen our relationship with him, or if not, at least to appreciate him for the books that he has given us. Thank him for such amazing books that he so tirelessly wouldn't sleep at night and has translated for us. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad
so
Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.